Okay, what I want to focus on in particular is the dominating or directing of people symbolized by having a planet or planets conjunct one's midheaven angle. Any angle actually, but in this case the midheaven. And the planet I want to focus on aspecting that angle is Pluto. The Reverend Billy Graham died today, and I became curious enough, as I often do when someone
At
noteworthy
7:46 this
dies, to
morning,
want to
the
take a
heavens
look
in
at his
Warsaw
chart.
came.
Angular planets carrying the astrological weight they do in a chart. I noticed immediately his angular Moon, Mars, and Pluto. Now his Moon and Mars were conjunct his midheaven, and I'll focus on other planets and other angles in future videos, but this Pluto was conjunct his nadir, or IC, at the bottom of the chart. And as this table from the Bob Moransky Astrology Corner website delineates, the keyword for Pluto is potent, as in potential, as in latent power, like that of a volcano, a natural feature which falls under Pluto's rule. In Graham's chart, this potency manifested at his nadir, whereas the ascendant symbolizes casual relationships, the descendant close relationships, and the midheaven group relationships. The nadir angle represents solitude, and so Graham was capable of taking a position and standing by it without being arrogant or offensive, which isn't easy to do for a lot of people. And some people, well, it was one of his gifts. That's probably why he was as successful as he was in his ministry. But as I stated, I'm focusing on the midheaven with regard to Pluto conjunctions today, and Pluto's potency there manifests as it does here in the chart of Vladimir Putin, the dictator of Russia. It manifests as dominant competence, I'll say, according to some of the keywords from that chart. These people are decisive and believe themselves capable of anything, thorough, yet with an exaggerated respect for a high social position, and who seek to associate with social superiors. It's a person who believes that their tastes, in particular, in any particular area, are superior to those of other people. As we see, Putin has it in Leo on his midheaven, which, interestingly enough, is within the orb to Donald Trump's ascendant and Mars in Leo. So that's worth noting as far as those two coming together and combining their particular powers to achieve a certain end. Now, here in the chart of another very famous person that would fit the mold of dominant competence is the late musical artist, musician, all-around genius, Prince. Prince, born Prince Rogers Nelson. His Pluto was in the very tail end of Leo, actually. It was about to leave, but it was still in Leo, midheaven, and Pluto. In very good, nice trine there to Venus, which in Taurus, which is its own sign, and it's the planet of art and beauty. With another trine here to Saturn, which gives form and structure to that beauty. Now, there's not exactly a grand trine, but you do have a powerful connection coming from this Pluto midheaven to both Venus and Saturn. And yet another person who had this particular angle with Pluto, as well as Mercury, which is a planet of the mind. So he had this belongs to the late comedian and actor, very talented man, Robin Williams. And you can see here is Pluto and Mercury are right there on the Leo, again the Leo midheaven. Most of these men were born within that time period while Pluto was still in the sign of Leo, as it was from I believe it was the late 30s to I'm not exactly sure when it left. I would have to say the late 50s, because that's when Prince was born and it was leaving that sign. So anyway, we can see here with Williams again with Mercury the quickness of the mind.
If there was anyone
Jupiter
that he
has a loose trine to the Mercury, but stronger to the Pluto. By association, I'd say that kind of helps.
Fast tonight, he'll be faster.
Those of us who have not been blessed with your gift, how do you explain the mental reflexes that you
see,
deploy
there's a square between his Pluto and his Scorpio ascendant, so not only is Pluto conjunct his Leo midheaven, Pluto rules the ascendant, so he had Scorpio rising, which definitely intensified very strong water presence, just as there was in Prince's chart, who also had the moon in Pisces, as Robin Williams. And he has Mars and Uranus here in Cancer and the Sun. And so very intuitive, very strong, competent, dominant competence, as I said. Well, I just wanted to take a look at that one aspect. I'll be looking at some of the different angles and different planetary combinations with the angle on this particular series on Angularity, and how that gives certain people advantages in relationships, whether they be again on a with the ascendant, there would be a casual relationship. With the descendant, the 7th house cusp, it would be a very close relationship. With the midheaven, it's a group relationship. And here at the bottom, we're talking more about solitude in relation to other people. So the 4 angles are all relationship oriented, but in different fundamental ways. I'm Wade Taylor, and thank you for looking at the stars with me. Before I forget, please check out my Patreon page. The address is there at the bottom. Thanks again.